I am Chairperson Jan Perry. This is the Ad Hoc Committee on the Downtown Stadium and Convention Center Renovation Special Meeting. Today is Thursday, February the 2nd, 2012, and it is 5 p.m., and we are in room 1010. I do expect some of the other members to join us in just a bit. In the meantime, our city clerk, correct, will read, and you know what's funny, I have the agenda and it says your name is John White. That doesn't work for me. So why don't you introduce yourself for the record?
My name is Erica Pulst, and I'm representing the city clerk's office.
Okay. Is this a permanent assignment for you?
Just for this evening.
Okay, just for this evening. Thank you. All right, so why don't you read the description of the item, and then we'll get started.
And the agenda item number 1 tonight is presentation from the Bureau of Engineering and Populist Architects on the design of Pico Hall.
All right, so our city engineer is here. Why don't you kick this off for us?
Good evening, Gary Morse, city engineer. I'm joined at the table with
Priya Bossi, general manager of Lake Convention Center.
And Mr. Reyes is joining us.
Ted. You want to?
Ted Tanner with AEG.
And I'm Michael Locker with Populist.
Great.
We've had the opportunity to be working very closely with the convention center, with AEG and Populist for many months, and it's been a very exciting time for all of us as we begin to really hone in on the final concept for what this new hall will look like. And it's really exciting to all of us to make this the best possible for the city of Los Angeles, and I think, and you'll see in the presentation, some very exciting concepts here. You know, during the course of this design development, Populist and working so closely with Ted Tanner and his team at ICON, the design, we've really investigated the functional and engineering requirements of the new hall, but we really have also focused on, you know, how it's going to function for Priya and his team. And in October, we had the first design concept package come before us, and during the last few months, we've continued to really look how we can maximize. Here today to show you a presentation that will really say, you know, we have effectively reached an equivalency of what the current convention center has, but I think you'll see some exciting new concepts, especially in a approximately 48,000 square foot multi-purpose room that really adds to the convention center and the experience. And that's my opening comments, and I'll be glad to accept.
Mr. Rosendahl has joined us. Mr. Abbasi, did you want to say anything before we get into the presentation?
Very quick comment on this. I think this city has grappled in the past few years in terms of arriving to the 21st century. How can we brand this city? How can we stand out and represent the best of this city? And that is the type of energy that was put into this project. And I think what you'll see here and the great work that the team did here, and I have to say huge congratulations to the work that Gary did in terms of ensuring that the design is aligned with what we need. But the result of that work, I believe, is where it will position the convention center to reflect and represent the best of Los Angeles. And I think the energy is going to be inherited in the design that you'll see today.
Okay, Mr. Tanner, did you want to say anything?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair, committee members. It's a pleasure to be here to give you an update, progress report on our design of the new hall, which will replace the outmoded West Hall of the Convention Center. I'd like to emphasize that we are still very early on in the schematic design process here. This is by no way to represent a final design. We have much work to do. And this effort is largely to inform and advise us on the scope for our environmental impact report.
Great.
And that's a process that we've been undertaking now for the past 16 or so months. And we believe we're about a month out from releasing that EIR document. I'd also like to congratulate the team at the city that has worked diligently with our architects and our team to come together and to really find that middle ground where we can provide that functional equivalent space and also come up with some new fresh thinking about Lindsey Plaza as well as Pico Boulevard as it crosses underneath the Concourse Hall and beyond. As you know, schematic design typically sets forth the scale, the massing, and the scope of a project. It's really looking hard at the interior space planning and programming We have not yet addressed the architecture of this building, the exterior fit and finishes and look and feel. That's still a work in progress. So I guess I want to manage the expectations a little bit, that we are still very early on in the process. But I firmly believe our team has brought some incredible fresh thinking about how to modernize and expand the city's convention center, to fully integrate it with the Farmers Field Event Center, and to seize this opportunity to create a cohesive and contiguous new convention center for our city. We're also exploring the possibility, working closely with Gary and Perea and the team at the city, the opportunity to reposition and to rebrand this convention center both nationally and internationally, and allow this convention center to rightfully join the top-tier ranks of other fine centers in the United States. We hope you'll embrace and share our enthusiasm for this project. We feel we've come a long way, and we're very excited about where we are with this project. So thanks for this opportunity again.
Thank you. So the gentleman from Populist, would you introduce yourself and you can begin your presentation?
Thank you. My name is Michael Lockwood. I'm the project designer from Populist Architects, and I'll echo what everybody else has said at the table here. We're really excited to be a part of this project, and I represent a much larger team from Populist Architects, our local partners, Grew & Associates, and Melendres Landscape Designers, and everybody from the Bureau. We've worked really hard to get to this point, to work together to deliver a great product for LA. We are really excited to be a part of this. We think LA is a destination that can be enhanced and rethought and replanned and really embrace the future. That's what we specialize in our practice, is designing buildings for the future. And I think it's important to envision that and understand what the possibilities are for the next decades to come. And we hope you see that in this presentation and capture some of the spirit of what we're trying to deliver. So I will begin. The outline today, we're going to talk a little bit about our literary inspiration, how we've sort of been encouraged and excited about this project. We'll show some functional diagrams, the current planning of the floor plans of the facility. And then we'll talk about some key design elements. And as Ted said, this is early schematic design. So what we've designed here are very sort of broad ideas of how to think about and embrace the future for the convention center. So just some real preliminary thoughts and images of what this facility might look like in the future. For our inspiration, we met not only as our internal design team, but with all of our local partners in LA, and we really delved in to discover what is the spirit of LA. For us, our practice for convention centers, we believe it's imperative that these buildings really speak to the place they're in. One of our driving forces is spirit of place. The future of meetings, the future of entertainment, we believe is people believing that they're in a place for a reason. So when I come to meet in Los Angeles, what does that feel like to be in LA? It doesn't feel like any other city. It feels like Los Angeles. So we came up with a lot of words and images and inspiration sort of as a goal of how we want to design this building, not only in plan, not only in function, but also in spirit, to really capture the spirit of Los Angeles. I'll start with the very basic conditions. This is the existing conditions, and at the top of the screen would be the Harbor Freeway, the 110 freeway. To the left of the screen would be the 10 freeway. You'll see the Staples Center and LA Live off to the right, the existing West Hall, Pico Boulevard, Figueroa, and the future LA Live Way, and the existing South Hall. So when we looked at the existing conditions on the site, and we break that down to their basic functional elements, the West Hall and the South Hall. And when the West Hall is replaced with future Farmers Field, how do we expand this facility? And it's really imperative that we understand at the street level is one condition, but really all of the functional space exists at one level above the street. That's the exhibit hall level. And above that is the meeting room level. But the biggest chunk of program, the exhibit hall expansion, is really what we have to solve first. Then we can solve everything else around that and really deliver a great destination. So the best and most efficient way to expand an exhibit hall is to basically take the existing diagram, which is very well laid out, and extrude it in that same direction. So with the new hall plugged in functionally, this delivers, we think, the most efficient back of house condition, the loading condition, the service condition. The yellow shape here is the new exhibit hall, transitioning into the front of house, which is shown in blue. That's the public lobbies and the public circulation areas. And what that did, this expansion of the exhibit hall, left an opportunity for some very unique space. This is the new multi-purpose hall that Gary mentioned. We think these types of rooms are in demand not only now but into the future. People are going to want to brand the facility more and more to their needs. Multi-use, multi-space, flexibility, all of those things. These are items being asked for around the country and around the world, and this is what we see being built more and more into these convention centers. So we think this is a great opportunity to incorporate that into the planning of this building. Again, the new contiguous hall. This this takes Los Angeles into the top 10 of contiguous space for exhibit hall, the exhibit hall diagram, and we can't overstate how important that is to your business model to take that step up and really deliver a destination for meeting planners to embrace. This is the current street plan, and I'll talk about the basic spaces down here. This is the existing south lobby of the South Hall. This is Pico Boulevard. We have a new kitchen, we have a new Pico Lobby, and some meeting space down at this level. And Pico Boulevard for us, it's a very, very hard-working street. It needs to be about connectivity. We need to bring people through this space. We need to bring people from Pico Union through this space to Gilbert Lindsey Plaza and the rest of the city to the east. We need to deliver delegates to this space with taxis and buses. We need to deliver goods and services. So Pico is a very, very hardworking space that we think creates a lot of opportunities for some great design solutions. One level up, the exhibit hall floor plan. So this is one level above the street. And now you can really start to understand the contiguous nature. This building becomes much more efficient and much more desirable from a meeting planner standpoint. Contiguous hall is a contiguous hall, and we think we've delivered the most efficient opportunity for contiguous space within this site. Up at the meeting room level, this is the third level of the building, and really what you can start to see here, the yellow space is the exhibit hall, but the green space, these are all of the meeting rooms the new convention center will have. And the center of this building, the multi-purpose space, really turns into this core element that all these meeting rooms revolve around. And when we look at the opportunities to use space in Farmers Field, we believe this is a destination that's going to be unrivaled in the country. There are a lot of facilities that try to do this around the country, multiple function facilities. But the beauty of this project is how all of these pieces work together. And we've been working very diligently with Gensler Architects on the design of the Farmers Field project. And we think we've come up with a diagram that works as best as it possibly could on this site. I'm going to speak now about Gilbert Lindsey Plaza. So if we looked at the existing conditions of Gilbert Lindsey, it's very much a drop-off, non-friendly pedestrian area, which does a lot for the convention center. But with these facilities, the road and the bus loading being moved to Pico Boulevard, now we have an opportunity to rethink this space in the district of Los Angeles. And what that means when we remove all of the functional needs of buses and taxis and things like that, we can start to offer up a variety of spaces scalable from 1 person to 1,000 people, all types of different amenities for the public and convention goers and anybody in the district. It really gives the convention center a rightful front door. We've doubled the green space in Gilbert Lindsey Plaza, and it allows us to do all kinds of different events, which really sort of programs the space and brings people there more than they can experience it today.
And the homage to Mr. Lindsey's still there.
Yes, the Gilbert Lindsey Memorial,
Yeah.
has been relocated directly to the north. And so it's really about bringing it into a space where public can gather around and actually use it more than it is used today.
You've contacted the artist? So you'll contact the artist?
We will, yes.
Yeah, I want you to do that because
Yes.
that's pretty historic.
Yes. This is the current illustrated plan of Gilbert Lindsey Plaza, and what we're developing here is you can see a large green space, programmable for all types of events, convention center uses, farmers market uses, all types of art festivals, and there's a smaller scaled space which really embraces the feeling of bringing people in. They can come in and read a book and not be overwhelmed by the space itself. And again, an aerial image of a study model of really embracing and bringing people to this place and allowing them to partake in the destination. That when we start to think about all the opportunities that exist with the event center and the new design of the convention center, we really want this to be a place where people can come outside and actually enjoy the weather and the great surroundings of Los Angeles. I'm going to move down into Pico Passage now, and for us, what we have thought about as far as a design theme down here, we really want this to be an unexpected experience. I think when we bring people into Los Angeles from the airport, a big design driver for us is the experience of coming to Los Angeles, which starts at the airport. What do we want people to think about the destination they come to? We're thinking that broadly, and as we think about those ideas coming down into Pico Passage, we really want it to be a bold and unexpected experience that leaves people with a good memory of the space. There's a lot of opportunity down here, I think, for artificial light and bringing in color-changing branding opportunities that can be branded for separate conventions so we can deliver that delegate experience that doesn't exist today, but really provide some excitement and some design features that don't exist and can really deliver that unexpected arrival experience for a delegate. And you come into the space and utilize these opportunities to better brand the space. Again, color changing opportunities to really think about creating a destination that is bold and exciting.
What kind of technology is that?
But this could be done with color changing lights, the technology that exists today. Very simple technology, but I think what we're trying to create is a sense of dynamism that the space really comes alive and brands itself to the arrival experience of the convention delegate.
Okay, go on.
Okay. When we think about the connection from the Pico Union, from the west of the building through the Pico Passage area to the east, what we want to do is we want to take care of the public and the pedestrians moving through the space. There are lots of ideas of how to do this. This is one idea that we had, utilizing color-changing LED lights, simple shade and shadow, bringing in the idea of nature, bringing in the idea of an organic solution that's unexpected. And it really takes care. It's a very safe environment. It's also a fun environment. People can move through the space and feel safe and feel connected to LA. The Pico Lobby, what we want to do here is we want to encourage people to move into the convention center. This lobby will have registration capacity, but it's really about dropping people off. You know you've arrived at the convention center. They're moving through the lobby itself, but then they're actually moving up to the exhibit floor, which is one level above Pico Passage. Some of our design drivers for the core of the building, the multi-purpose space, and a big one for us is the lobby of the Eastern building. I think Ted said it very well in one of our meetings. Art Deco has always traditionally been the architecture of entertainment. And I think we've really embraced that in Los Angeles. I think the Eastern building is a great example of a well-planned, well-designed architectural icon, and we think those types of design elements can be immortal. If they're done correctly, they could live on forever, and we really want to embrace that spirit in this building. So once you arrive to the pre-function space outside of the exhibit hall, what you see here is the multi-purpose room. So this object in blue, when we think about objects in the building that can really alter the perception of the convention center, we think the multi-purpose space can be that, not only programmatically and not only functionally, but with a design sense that delivers an experience that definitely communicates to guests that this is a destination, this is Los Angeles, and I know that I'm meeting in LA because I know there's a space like this that I can embrace and move around. So in our feelings, the way to change the delegate experience is really provide them with an opportunity to be excited with architecture and interior design, moving around the programmatic space, but really enlivening the experience itself. This would be a view from the existing building looking to the west. So again, providing that opportunity of introducing new design elements that can better the experience of the convention center. Looking at the exterior of the building, we really want to create an iconic gesture to LA. We understand the impact this is going to have on the destination. We think the convention center needs to have its own identity in the district of LA Live. We want people to understand the convention center on its own in the district itself. So this is some early design process thinking, but what we'd like to do is create a building that's very influential and optimistic and communicates the idea of a destination, that you've arrived at the LA Convention Center. This is a view showing an elevation toward the west, toward Pico Union neighborhood. So again, we have an existing building designed by a very well-respected architect, Jim Freed, and we want to respect that. We want to think of ways of bringing those materials into the new building. It's very important for us that we don't create two classes of space. Convention centers always suffer as you do today. You have a west hall and a south hall, and you want to deliver one experience, one destination. So to take care of your business, you don't want to alter the experience drastically from one building to the other, or the existing building to the expansion, because people will say that's A space and B. You just want to deliver a cohesive, well thought out, well planned destination.
What does COEX stand for?
COEX is a term used to describe a convention and exhibition center.
Okay.
We think there's an opportunity there to rebrand the facility and rebrand the destination, which speaks more toward an international market. It's a term used in Asia and Australia and Europe, and we think LA deserves a world stage, and we think it could be accommodated with the rebranding effort the LA COEX. It's early thinking, but it's that type of rebranding and planning that we're trying to incorporate into the design of this building. This would be a view from LA Live Way. This would be Farmers Field here to the left. The Bond Street Garage, the newly planned Bond Street Garage. This is the expansion hall here. And this, we really want to create a distinct identity from Farmers Field in the district. The convention center needs to be perceived as its own element. And so for us, this is a way to do it, whether it's through the brand or through architecture, through design. We think we can accomplish this in this elevation. But there's a pedestrian bridge here that brings people from the Bond Street Garage across the street at an elevated condition and delivers people down here to this new Pico Plaza, and from there you can go to either Farmers Field or to the Pico Lobby, the new addition for the convention center. And that's the end of our presentation.
Oh, that's really interesting. I really am very impressed. So when this process began, I think we, was this the same committee as before? You were on before. So I'm not sure we've changed all that much. That we focused on a design, identity, and contiguous space, and how this project really interfaces with the street life and the neighborhood surrounding this expansion. And of course, Pico Union is just across the freeway. The cost, and of course, managing our risk. Now, I'm sure Mr. Reyes has some questions about interface with Pico Union, so that I will leave that to him. I want you to know on the record, I enjoyed looking at that, I guess, site plan for the green space in front of the convention center, and I'd like to work with you as you locate the artist for the memorial for Mr. Lindsey, and I'd like to work with you on that very closely to make sure that it's preserved and respected, because he dearly, dearly, dearly loved what he accomplished, and I don't ever want that to be forgotten. And I love the fact that you're repositioning it for greater green space and outdoor activity. It's perfect for Los Angeles, and it's something that we'll have to offer tourists and conventioneers. I know that there were a few times when LA Inc. did events out there in the plaza, and it was pretty inspiring for people who are coming from colder climates to stand out there, like in September or October, and look up and see the skyline, see how beautiful it is. I would like to explore the issues of project insurance and the art fee. And I don't know, I'm not sure who's the right person to answer this, but who will ensure the construction of the new hall? Who's responsible for the process? Maybe CLA and CAO should answer that, or so let them just grab a chair.
John Wickham with the CLA's office.
Okay, let me just ask you those two, and then I'll go to you. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Just on the issue of who's ensuring the construction of the new hall and who's responsible for the process.
The negotiations that we had done in the MOU dealt with issues of the guarantee that this would get built, so we have some details in there. We are still in the negotiation process for the final documents, and everything that we're looking at is to ensure that there's a guarantee that when this starts and we sell the bonds, that this project gets built.
And to be more direct in terms of the client in this case is the City of Los Angeles, and obviously your committee and your colleagues on the council and the mayor are the ones who are providing the ultimate approval. And so this is a public asset. It will continue being a public asset. And so our relationship with AEG and the architects and the construction firm is that where ultimately the city is accountable and the client.
Okay, and thank you for that clarification, because I think there was some confusion earlier in the day in print in terms of communicating. So thank you for clearing that up. I'm going to let Mr. Rosendahl ask his questions. He has time constraints. He has a redistricting hearing out in his district tonight, so he's got to get out of here.
It's okay with you, my wonderful colleague. I have to leave here at 5:30. I got to be in a large group of people of Westchester who are very upset with the map that came out. You were quoted in the article, Miguel, that was written. You're saying our city CAO is focused on asking more basic questions about design, including the following, also quoting you, they're saying here from the article. We'll be asking, is it more effective space? The city's top budget, can it stand on its own, or is it overshadowed by the stadium? Is the design of the new hall getting the attention it deserves? It's pretty much just what you said, correct?
That's correct.
Does anybody have a reaction to that on the record here?
Gary Moore, city engineer. I would say that we look at this as a public building, and we use the same energy, the same importance, because it is a city building. And we're definitely, all the items that you mentioned there, Councilman Rosendahl, we're taking that into consideration as we move through. And as Ted Tanner said, we're just at the concept stage, but it is so important to have its own identity that and that it is recognizable. There will be no doubt that you're at the Los Angeles Convention Center.
One of the comments is here that so downtown may not get an architectural icon, which I'd like you to respond to, particularly given the limited budget of $300 million for the new hall, according to Michael Legrand. Is he in the room here? No. Well, Michael Legrand is saying that, but the city doesn't have any money. What's your take on the $300 million and making it an iconic, a proud structure for us?
I would comment that we believe that the architectural icon, the front door of the convention center, is very important to the delegate experience. The front door exists in the south lobby. We don't want to interrupt the business of the convention center. We don't want to confuse so many convention centers around the country through their expansions, create multiple front doors, multiple destinations, and it actually hurts the business model. So for us, we want to be respectful of the existing architecture. We want to respect the icon that is the south lobby, and we want to add to the building in a respectful way, provide some excitement, give it an address, and give it a true identity in the destination of LA Live.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we want to be respectful, obviously, with the budget, do what we can do, but we want to take care of the inside as well. And hopefully for us, the icon is the experience.
Mm-hmm.
The icon is the experience of coming to LA and having a meeting, and not only just walking up to a building and saying that's an icon. I want to come back to LA again and again and again because I had such a great experience in the convention center itself, and that can mean anything from architecture to planning to food service to design. It's all those things put together. So that's our sensitivity from a design standpoint, is taking care of the business of the convention center and assuring that meeting planners want to come back again and again.
Mm-hmm. Please.
Yes. One of the items I would like to emphasize is the South Hall of the Convention Center and the Concourse were designed by an iconic architect, and great care was taken by the city team and Populist to ensure that the iconic value of the South Hall of the Convention Center was preserved. And I believe what you saw is, whatever we're going to be building in the future is going to preserve that.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
The dates that we have in my mind, I said I'm going to go to the very first game in 2016 and buy my own ticket and sit there. Yeah. But this hall is supposed to be done by 2014. Okay. And we're in the planning stages and we're working on issues. We don't know if that, time frame works. Does it work for you?
I would defer that comment to Icon and AEG.
Yeah. Well, we are monitoring the schedules as we move through on all of these actions as these designs unfold.
Okay.
So that's constant in our mind.
Great.
Yeah, our focus still is to have the construction of the West Hall, the new hall, underway toward the end of this year, completed in 2014, so that we can meet the time frame for football in 2016.
And if we take that, again, by the end of this year, start construction, will we have a team, do you think, in place? Because that's a key element for everybody to get engaged in this issue.
I really can't comment on that at this point, but that would seem...
Okay, but you're just putting the gauntlet down, because if we want to start construction at the end of the year, which I have nothing against, you're going to have to get a team before that.
We hear you.
Okay, that's all. I appreciate it, everybody, for speaking. I apologize that I have a huge community meeting. Yeah, I'm going to see my colleague there, too,
Yeah, I'll be there.
as well as other colleagues.
Yeah, to support you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Reyes.
Well, first, I appreciate the the overview of this project. But when we quote, they speak of the place they are in, I understand that you are focused on those crowds that you anticipate that would visit the convention center. What I think is sorely missing is the incredible opportunity we have to address the shortcomings and the deficiencies of the current system for the people that already live there. I think it's sorely missing. I think lights are nice inside the tunnel. It's a great effect, enhances safety, but you can do so much more. When you look at the entryway from Pico Union into that cement wall we call the freeway, these are the few opportunities to actually go through that barrier in a manner that says Pico Union matters. And I don't think that it does that. I don't even have a perspective that lets me know how the people in my district are going to experience this facility in the future. I have no idea what they're going to walk into. I see one side of the freeway, but I don't see the other. And that to me is a symbolic gesture of the shortcomings of these proceedings. I made this an issue the last time on the simple fact that the boundaries went up to the freeway and did not go past it. And I kept asking, when is that going to change? When is the mindset of this city is going to change that regardless of how much money you make or what kind of income you can maintain or ethnic background, when is it going to matter? So I'm trying to understand, where does that get folded in the design? I'm asking you, as our city engineer, and you as our convention personnel, when do we start folding that in? I've already asked in the maps, when do we include that? And I was told it was going to happen in future renderings, in future discussions, in future presentations. Now I'm hearing we have a deadline to meet, and yet the most fundamental issues that I've been asking about have yet to be addressed, not even in the slides. So I want to understand your thought process. Is it going to be ignored? Does it matter? I just want to get a feel for the direction you're going in. Can you share some thoughts with me?
I was going to say maybe Ted, talking about the entire community plan and connection, Ted Tanner might be the best to answer that, because this team did present to the planning director and the planning commission president. I think Ted can better address the entire campus.
No, but I'm talking about, I don't want to get lost in the minutia of all the great big picture. I want to know in detail the pathway under the freeway. As you're coming in, there's two pathways that currently exist, right?
There are actually four that we are going to address.
Okay.
From Pico 12th, 11th, all the way up to Olympic.
Now, is that considered part of the convention center process or not?
Yes, Councilman, it does matter. We do care. And we intend to come back to you with more details on that particular subject as we look at the entire public realm, all the streetscape, all the enhancement that we're doing as part of the project, and share with you some of those ideas. We're not there yet. We're still working on that.
So I feel very unsettled here, because I know, and I've been chairing Plum for 10 years. I see how developments posture themselves with time. And then, we're kind of pressed up against the wall and say, well, you have to make the decisions. If you don't, we have all of this to lose. I don't want to be put in that position. So when does it begin to get traction? I mean, when can I see that? Because I have to go back to my district, my community. And the question is going to be, where is the relativity to job creation, job development? How do we enhance the sense of place? And I shared this with Mr. Tanner about 3 or 4 years ago. I had a group of students who brought up concepts that, okay, they were pie in the sky. But there was kernels there that you can work with that speaks to the built-out environment, the capacity to have farmers markets, night markets, to capture the diversity that we have 70,000 people per square mile on the other side of the freeway. How can we pretend that they don't exist? And the designs, that's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm seeing. I understand you're saying it's coming, but this is a big moment. This committee meeting is a big moment. I don't understand why it wasn't so important not to have some of those concepts shared today.
We are only here today to talk about the new hall design, and I'm sorry that we didn't have more details for you on the public space elements. We need to come back and deliver that presentation to you, and we will.
What I'm hoping for is that we can grasp the opportunity here to have an economic development strategy that speaks to how we grow the pie that we need to have to sustain the city. To do that is to use our public space as triggers, as catalysts that speaks to how you create jobs and how you create different types of exchange, stimulating new markets. That's what we have in front of us right now, and I see as lights. It's an amazing moment we have right now. It's an amazing moment. And I feel like we're letting it slip away. So I have to stay focused on the immediacy of how I respond to my constituents. The convention center, yes, it's an international, national destination. I understand it. But you can't ignore the people that pay our taxes. And they're right on the other side of the freeway. And that's all I'm trying to drive home here. I got other observations, but I'm going to...
That's fine. Maybe if I can make a suggestion that perhaps the architect can spend some more time just sitting down and interviewing Mr. Reyes, or maybe the architect can go with Mr. Reyes and just sort of take him on a so they can see what you're talking about, so they can work more specifically on meeting your goals.
The concepts and the little, I think, flashes of possibilities that the student renderings and their studies, was that in any way digested?
No, I think it does provide the inspiration, and we do have representatives from our landscape architectural team here, Scott Baker and Melanie Smith from Melendres. They're listening, and I think we need to come back and give you a full presentation. I'd like to meet with you and your staff and take that walk or that drive-through and really get your thinking about how we can do this better.
I know you came yesterday, and you presented an overview of the convention center. I saw the material you left, and I'm reacting to that.
Okay.
So it's not like I acknowledge the fact that you made the effort. You did come to my office, but I was stuck in committee.
We'll come back.
So the life of committee does what it does. I mean, we're stuck there. But the fact is, I want to be constructive. I want to be supportive. But I would hope you can help me help my district in understanding the positive impacts this could have and this incredible amount of talent you have here. I mean, it's great what you're showing, sir. I didn't mean to insult architectural inspiration here. But I think the folks in my district will say, so we have a lot of lights, now what? So I'm trying to be respectful. But I hope you sense the urgency in my voice and the concern I have for who I represent. It is parochial to an extent, but I understand the citywide and national significance of this project, believe me, and I want to be supportive. But I'm hoping you can help me be there, get there. And I really want to get there.
Yeah, I hope that maybe my suggestion is helpful.
Yes.
So that you can have direct interface and you see it and feel it and experience it. Maybe Mr. Reyes can take you on a walk. You bring your video cameras and you video everything that he shows you, and then you can create something that's fully integrated and reflective and interactive and respectful and iconic and historic and merges and creates another gateway.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
We will follow
That's
up.
a good thing.
Thank you.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. It's a great opportunity.
We agree.
To lead people in from a whole nother direction, in and out.
Yep.
And to drag people into another community that has great places to eat, interesting shops to purchase things, and, a very strong, interesting culture that I'm sure people who are visitors to the city will want to experience.
We can lead them there. I appreciate the phrase hardworking street. Believe me, my district knows about hard work. But it's got to be more than that. Thank you.
Okay. I don't have any other questions. Does anybody else have any other questions or comments? I don't have any speaker cards either. No speaker cards? Well, very interesting. Oh, what, do we have a card? No? Okay, oh, no, he's the reporter from the Los Angeles Times. Would you like to speak? No. Thank you.
Don't put him on the spot.
Yeah, let's put you on the spot. All right, well.
We need a quote from it.
What? I just asked questions. Yeah, he just asked questions, okay. All right, well, I want to say thank you very much. It's a good first cut, and let's keep going. Please set aside a lot of time, maybe a Saturday all morning with lunch.
We'll have fun.
In the district, yes, yeah. And I want to thank all of you very, very much, and the whole room practically for coming. So we will set another meeting for this when it is appropriate, and let's keep this moving. And then, again, I want to spend some time with you on the memorial.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
So with that marks the end of our agenda. This is the time for public comment for those items that are not on the agenda. Anyone who wishes to come forward and speak about an item that's not on the agenda should do so at this time. If not, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.